Feel blessed. Be blessed. Stay blessed. Good morning. Red string. There's a Chinese proverb that deals with the fact that there's a red string that connects two individuals together that are meant to be together. It's usually in reference to relationships as far as boyfriend and girlfriend, husband and wife type situation. But you can take that a little bit further and even saying the connections that we are meant to have in life with certain people are destined to happen. This is from a friendship aspect. There are certain people that we're meant to be in contact with at certain points in our lives because these people are needed to help us move to another stage. These individuals may be people that you knew years ago and you just kind of bumped into. All of a sudden, you're actually doing some of the similar same things. And one may be able to work with one another and help each other accomplish the same task, which is providing more growth for their dream. Simply providing more purpose to both individuals. There are certain things in life that we cannot avoid. There are certain concepts of life that we can not try to take time to understand. And some things are just things that either you know or you don't. Just like the concept of a red string. Because like I've said many times before, we are all energy and we are all interconnected. There is no separation from one or the other. Male, female, doesn't really matter. It's all the same energy. The same energy. Excuse me. It's all the same energy, simply trying to play and interconnect with each other, becoming ingrained into this one big, beautiful tapestry of life. Where if you just are willing to step outside of your comfort zone, do things that you wouldn't normally do, sometimes will lead to a scenario where you end up becoming reconnected with the end of the string that's on your finger. It's kind of funny. It really is. But just taking time to embrace all that you are. The more you do that, actually, the more it shortens that string. Because once you reach a certain stage, you start pulling in things that will provide more sustenance for you and the things you're pulling in. Once you take time to just slow down and not try to predict a moment or make any moment more than that moment truly is, and just let any moment be just that moment. It's about finding the beauty in all things, be it good or bad, just finding the beauty in it. Finding the lesson, finding the message, taking time to shift through all of the surface things, scrape away all that, and you keep scraping away until you actually get to the core. And once you get to the core, you give it what it needs to grow. You allow all opportunities to be just that, an opportunity. Seeing the timing is perfect because you have become much different than you were before. If what's happening now happened back then, you wouldn't have the ability or the capacity to be able to see the situation for what it is because you were not fully grown. But the more you grow, the more you develop in your own personal self-right, the more things that come into your life because you're doing the right things. So you're vibrating higher. And the higher you vibrate, after a while, you get to a point where you start pulling things in simply because of the fact that you are vibrating so high. Things become drawn towards you. When you are in a state of a less than who you should be, then it's like trying to put the same two ends of a magnet together. And no matter how hard you try, they will never touch. They will always repel. But once you get to a state where you're no longer fighting yourself, then there's no more fighting. There's no more resistance. And everything comes together in its perfect time. Do not rush through life. Rushing through life is where you end up making decisions based off a weaker state of you, causing you to end up with a weaker result than you would have had if you had taken the time to simply be still. It's in learning to be still, to listen to the loudness of the quietness, and trying your best to extract the answers from that quietness, because everything makes sound. And once you become in tune with those different sounds and those different vibrations and frequencies of life, what you see, hear, and do will change dramatically. Pulling on that red string, pulling things closer and closer and closer. Like I said again, the red string concept comes from a Chinese proverb that deals with relationships of a man and a woman. I'm just taking it a little bit further and just simply saying that red string is not just for that concept. It's also when it comes to people being in your life that's supposed to be there. And sometimes you don't even know what's on the end of that string once you get to pulling it in. But once it's there, know it's there for a reason. Know that once it gets closer, you can almost see exactly what it is, but it's still somewhat blurry. So you keep pulling, you keep doing the right things each and every day, doing small things until you get to the point to where those small things become a big thing, and that thing that's on the end of that string becomes closer to you. And now it's in full view. No point in asking if you're ready for it to be there, because obviously you've done the right thing for it to be there to begin with. The real question is, are you willing to take that next step? Are you willing to take that next step of faith? Now that life is slowly giving back that 10% once you put in that 90%, and you keep stepping a little further. Don't get cold feet now. Don't get cold feet now that your dream is so close. It's closer to you now than it's ever been in your entire life. Don't get cold feet now. Keep going. Keep pulling that string. Keep pulling it in. Keep doing those things that make you more you, which is more beautiful than you've ever been. So therefore, you vibrate and you pull those things into you that were meant for you. But those things cannot come about if you're not willing to do the work it takes to get there to begin with. Accepting things that you in the past did not accept as being truth. But one of the hardest things in life to do is to accept an ugly truth. It's so easy to accept the beautiful truth. There's no work, there's no effort in that, that's a given. But once you can start to accept the ugly truth of life, and you start working for your ugly ever after, that moment when all the pain has been there for a while and you've dealt with it and you pushed through it, and you still find a way to smile despite all of the things that's making you want to frown, that is a beautiful moment in life. That is a beautiful moment. And that's a moment that no one else could have given you other than self. To be in love with another is a beautiful thing. It truly is. I am a hopeless romantic. An old hopeless romantic at that. And I truly do believe in love, and I applaud anyone that's in a beautiful relationship and things are going the way they should go. But what I am saying is, the best way to have a beautiful relationship with anyone, be it spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever it may be, friend, or whoever it may be, the best way to have a really good relationship that won't end is by understanding yourself to the point you can explain yourself to someone else so they may be in the same line with you, so they understand what you expect of them, and they understand what you expect of them, and you understand what they expect of you. There is no miscommunication because everything's laid on the table. But that situation cannot occur if you have no idea who you are. And sometimes in the process of trying to find out who we are, we end up in situations and make decisions based off who we were then and not who we are now. We end up in a cycle and a situation to where it's something that doesn't bring us the best of joy. It doesn't make us smile, but yet because back then we did this and we continue to do it now until you choose to change and see there is another way. And even if you're unclear of what that other way may be, that's quite irrelevant. The fact that you are aware of another way in itself is that seed getting a little bit of water that starts to grow. And it slowly grows to the point where it grows roots. And then it is ingrained into who you are. And it grows so beautifully because you choose to just see the red strings that are spanned out throughout this entire world. How everyone has that red string on their finger as they're walking, and there are certain individuals they are meant to meet. No matter the time length, be it 5 seconds or 5 years, there are some individuals that are just meant to be in our lives because it's confirmation from the universe that you're on the right track of doing the right thing. It's a big world, but yet it's still a small world. Once you begin to look around the room and see how everything is connected by that red line, that red thread, that red thread, that red thread. And no matter how much it becomes tangled or knotted or twisted or mangled, no matter what, that thread cannot be broken. It may take a little longer for you to pull it all in because there's obstacles or things in the way. But the more you give to yourself, the more you move from a state of you and not I, then those strings become a little bit shorter with each occurrence of you doing what you know you should do, despite what anyone has to say to you. You simply do what's meant for you to do. When you have been called, the only thing you can do is answer. And once you do answer, it makes those red strings become even shorter and life becomes more beautiful. Life is beautiful. Life is beautiful. Life is beautiful. The more red string that you choose to pull closer to you makes life even more beautiful. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. Do not get cold feet. Now you're so much closer to your dream than you've ever been. Just keep pulling. Just keep pulling. Just keep working to become strong enough to pull those things into you that's meant to be a part of you in your life. Just keep pulling. Get your weight up, boy, and just keep pulling. Oh my, oh my. Feel blessed. Be blessed. Stay blessed. Good morning. Good morning to you all. Just thank you. Thank you. Glory to the Most High. Just thank you.